level of search for another temporary shelter after November.
Supervisor Parker?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Yeah, I just want to say how disappointed I was at the Transportation Agency Board vote the other day to just extend that shelter lease for 30 days. I know we are going to have to redouble our efforts to find a shelter location in Salinas, and I want to just let our staff know how much I appreciate their efforts. I hope it's going to be possible to find something so that there's no interruption in people's ability to be sheltered at night. And I've just really appreciated our staff's willingness and ability to step up and partner with cities when there is a need for homeless services. And I'm just really disappointed. It doesn't look to me as though the city of Salinas is being quite the partner that we thought that they were. So I hope they will step up and be of assistance as well. Anyway, just want to express my appreciation to the county staff for all the efforts in the last several years to make sure that there's a coherence to the delivery of services, really bringing a lot of resources to the table. And I know that you will continue to do that, and I hope that we will have a good partner in the city of Salinas going forward.
Thank you, Supervisor Parker. Supervisor Phillips?
Well, I think we have to remember that homeless shelter was a temporary one because of the cold and the weather. And we've never had a permanent shelter. But I think a number of us have looked at what we can do, and I met with the young lady about little houses who came and had quite a bit of research that she'd done in little houses, and so I've talked to some people on the staff about that, did a little research, sent that on to the city of Salinas to take a look at that to see if they thought that had some viability of working with the county and finding some better options for the homeless.
Thank you. Supervisor Salinas?
Let me support the direction that has been laid out. One of the things that I like to do is maybe get the city and the county to be partners again in dealing with it. It's not an easy problem to deal with, but and I certainly appreciate the referral, because one of the things that we see, Salinas has to do its part in the county, but also in terms of the peninsula finding a site for their homeless. What we saw last year was in the peninsula, their homeless population was reduced, but by that same number, the Salinas population went up. So I think it is going to challenge all of us to do our part, not only in Salinas but in the peninsula, to figure out how to house the homeless on a more permanent basis. But again, I appreciate it. I think our staff has been doing a good job at partnering, and I hope we get back to that type of approach.
Thank you. Particularly with Supervisor Salinas, he and I co-chaired the 10-year plan to end homelessness. So I have a personal and a professional interest in this. I just feel that we need to ensure that the homeless in our community are treated with respect and dignity that they're entitled to, and that while our systems work to find permanent solutions to end homelessness, we have to look again, I agree with you, on the Monterey Peninsula, City of Salinas, and the County of Salinas, the County of Monterey. And I can tell you, having done the homeless census for many, many years, it shifts. 1 year Salinas will have the greater glut of the homeless population, and then you look back 2 years later, it's the Monterey Peninsula who has the homeless big glut. I mean, it just goes back and forth, which indicates to me that we have this constant population that continues to move throughout the county. It's a regional issue, and we have to be able to deal with it in a regional way. I was happy to support the lease extension. I wanted personally for it to be 60 days with no month-to-month afterwards, because I felt, quite truthfully, even though I'm relatively new with the county, I believe if we don't have a firm deadline, it's too easy to have other priorities take the time and focus away. So I'm happy that we have brought forward an active referral to this so that we can find a permanent and a year-round shelter for homeless people. And my hope is that in the meantime, as we work forward to this, if there are other people, I encourage both the staff and others in the community to please contact my district office and my staff team, because we're very interested in this issue and would be happy to move forward. So thank you very much.
I'm sorry, before we leave this issue, I wanted to just say something that Supervisor Salinas mentioned, and you also. I wanted to just say that I think one thing we see is that every city, every town has a challenge with some of our residents being homeless. And so I really am looking through my office to make sure that every city has some sort of response and solution for their residents. Because I understand if some cities feel like, hey, we're the only ones trying to deal with this problem, it's too complex for us. It's too complex for all of us, but all of us need to be participating. So we are actually looking on the peninsula to make sure that we can ensure the cooperation and partnership with the county of as many of the cities on the peninsula as we possibly can.
So with that, Madam Chair, I'd like to move approval, but with, in addition, adding that we give direction to staff to actively search for another temporary location for shelter to serve our homeless residents after May 30th in Salinas. I just wanted to add that, express certainly my disappointment with the action taken by towns. It's such a very limited time, and we all know that anytime you try to cite a homeless shelter, you always get a lot of resistance. People often say they want affordable housing or a homeless shelter, but they just don't want it near them. So it complicates our work ahead of us, but nonetheless, I think we should proactively pursue that. As I stated a few days ago, even though we all know that at night, the last few nights, we dropped down to temperatures about 40, 49, early 50s, and there's about 18 children that are currently, the only place to stay at night is that shelter. And so I always say any person with any compassion or consciousness would take that into account. None of us with grandchildren or children would put our kids out on the street in 49-degree temperatures at night. We know how cold it gets here in Monterey Bay. Just because the summer season is near, it doesn't mean that at night in Monterey Bay we don't get really cold temperatures. And so I take, even though many of us get to go sleep in a warm bed at night, there's many of those children and adults that don't have that same opportunity. And so we take this with great seriousness, and I hope that we can work together with the City of Salinas and the Downtown Association and the Chamber and other business groups to try to find a right place where we can site this, not only for a few months, but year-round in our community.
One was read that I really want to speak on. I may keep it going. We all said the Pledge of Allegiance a few minutes ago, didn't we? And it includes life, liberty for all, not just some, not just a certain group of people, all people. And unfortunately, our financially disenfranchised group of people, people of little means, are a group of people. And they've been singled out. I believe in our Constitution it says we are not to use the governmental agencies to single out any group of individuals, black, white, green, orange, or rich, and tax them or use the government to enforce ordinances, not laws, ordinances, and none of it's in the road under made by city councils, to harass them, to basically make their life living impossible. We're using the police to do that now. In fact, I have no problem with police officers. I talked to several of them today. We had what I call a surprise attack today. They came this morning with no warning, and today I only lost half my stuff. Pretty nice day, compared to losing all my stuff. How would you like to come home from work, Chairman Adams, and have everything you own gone, with no due process of law, no one there, no accountability, and since you have no ways to get it back, we're going to put it in storage for you and charge you $300 to get it back, but you have no way to get back. It seems very foolish to do these kinds of things over and over to someone who has little means, and finally gets a little bit of means, you take that away from them again and again. Recently, one of the people of Chinatown made a proposal that I hope will be presented today, but we'll find a way to transmit it to you. It's a proposal to have the people of Chinatown have everything up by 10 a.m. and back down by 4 p.m. To have a committee of volunteers. If someone can't put up their stuff or can't take it down for $1, they can have it done for them. Well, police are on trash for $1, they'll pay for that. For $2 a day, a person can have their own trash cleaned and their own dwelling moved and put up for $2 a day. We'll also provide our own methods for porta potties. It took a year and a half to get porta potties in Chinatown, a year and a half. And quite frankly, they removed them on Thanksgiving Day, man. I don't know if that's a sense of humor, if that's a sense of humor. Okay? They fed us lunch, fed us a great meal, and then removed the porta potties. We have a health center that's only open from 7 in the morning till 10 p.m. at night. What would you guys do from 10 p.m. at night till 7 every morning? I'm sure it would be enjoyable for you. I know it's not enjoyable for us. I know it's not proper or right. You guys do sound like you're in favor of treating homeless people with kindness and respect, from Chairman Supervisor Parker to Supervisor Salinas. It's not that hard to do. We're using the government to enforce laws that are, I'm sorry, not laws, ordinances. This was never voted on by the public. It's a small group of people, individuals. I believe the Salinas Board is 5 people. So 5 people enacted these rules, which would change 3 separate times to make them more stern and rougher, and basically impossible to survive in an environment that was already, you've been to Salinas more than one day, pretty hard to survive in to begin with. There are 88 people in Chinatown that signed this proposal. That's 3/4 of the people there that have already agreed, printed and signed their names to try and make it as legal as possible for you to help us, help you, help us. We're doing everything we can to do our part. Can't we stop using the police to pretty much harass us? I would call it cruel and unusual punishment. I lost everything else 7 times behind that. That's just unacceptable. And I'm here today to state that it's not right. It is unconstitutional to use the government to harass any group of people.
Thank you so much for your comments. Unfortunately, your time has expired, but if you have the list of people that you'd like to submit to us or any other information, we'd be happy to help.
If there's some way we could probably try to get, I wanted to get the list here today so we can get you a photocopy, but I'm sure we could get the list transmitted to them or a copy of them.
I'd like to speak.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate your comments. Thank you. Okay, so we have all the
I'd like to say
comments.
something. My name is Cecilia Martinez. I drew up the petition of agreement that we presented to the city when they did the sweep on Thursday. One of our representatives, basically what Ron said, I have a copy of it that I can email to anyone, each and every one of you guys. It basically said to give us, a different negotiation. From 10 to 4, maybe start off with the 10 put up and put down because we have breakfast between 8:30 and 9:30, and that'll give us, everybody's up by then, so that'll give us some time to do that for at 10 o'clock. And like you said, we have somebody do it, but we'd like the city to offer some trash cans so we can use them, and portable toilets because the house center is not open on weekends all day. It's only open for 4 hours, from 6 in the evening to 10 at night. Now, all day long, we have the best restrooms, but if we have portable toilets, more convenient. But we would keep them up maintenance. We could show you, we would keep up the maintenance up, as well as the garbage. And any money that donated by anybody who collected, helping and putting them up and down, we put towards the cost. I know we could pay the whole fee, but try to put something of it. At least, 90 days. So it's what you can do. We can show you what we can do, or, not. That's all. That's basically it. But I presented with the city on Thursday, and we just like some kind of results, some kind of negotiation. Appreciate you listening to us.
Thank you so much for your remarks.
I would like to speak. My name is Melissa, and I am part of the Street Light Program, which is basically the same thing she does. The difference between it with us, we do help take care of kids, we do put them up, we do provide them with kids. And it's inventory, we also fix them or give them new ones. And we go around 7 days a week, we clean up the streets, and we provide them whatever they need. We have classes on Friday, and we have to go two times a month to go see the interns, which helps us with housing, Medi-Cal, and disability, whatever else. But most of the people out there that are homeless, we all have dogs. There's no places for dogs. And that's what's out there now, as people with dogs, and we have nowhere to go because we have dogs. It's not like, if there are kids, we can't just get rid of them like, they're nothing. So that's, taking into consideration that we are out there, we do need help. We are getting harassed by the cops every day. They ticketed us, all of us today. Next is going to be another ticket. Next, they're going to haul us to jail. And we have nowhere to go. That's all I have to say. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your remarks.
Might I beg one more minute, ma'am?
Nope, you already talked about
Madam
this.
Secretary, might I beg one more minute?
I really apologize, but we're
Go if you
going to
want.
see if we can just have something in written comment as we
Is there
move
some way we
forward.
can get something to transmit?
Go if you're gonna go,
to you guys with?
Why don't we talk offline afterwards, we'll see what we can do here. Thank you. So thank you all very much for your comments. Yes, another speaker? Yes, come forward. Thank you.
Thank you for having me today. I've been in this town for about 24 years. I spoke with you before, and I'm a veteran. But I've worked in a homeless shelter, and now I'm staying in another homeless shelter, that is provided by you guys, in a sense. The thing is, when we're out there in the world, like I mentioned before, we're like bugs under a microscope. You know, we need help. We can't do for ourselves. My situation, like I explained to you last time, was that I have low income. I'm a veteran, so I have a very small pension. You know, a lot of us have small pensions. We have very little money for our income. So we're out there on the street. It is not our choice to be there, but we are there. What I'm asking is that you help us out year-round, like I spoke with my supervisor for here before. You know, it's a necessity. It's not just in the weather of the cold weather, it's in the hot weather as well. We need somewhere where it's safe. We need somewhere where it's warm. We need our food. We need our comforts of somewhere where we can be out of the elements. And I don't mean just the weather-wise. There's elements out there that some of us don't want nothing to do with. I've been part of that element at one time or another as well, you know. But I'm not going to continue and waste your time, you know. But I'm just trying to explain that we need your help. You are the ones that have the funds. We have very little. We're just reaching out and reaching up to you. Thank you.
Thank you for your thoughtful comments. Thank you.
So Wes White, I'm a Salinas resident, community enthusiast at large, also includes people who support Fort Brant. And I think we're talking about 18.1, which is the warming shelter, and I was terribly disappointed with that TAMP meeting. I think it kind of illustrated the point. The thing that I walked away with the most was I heard over half a dozen times people saying, I'm sure some of them are good people, but, and it really drove a knife in my heart, you know. Public service agencies, man, TMZ, what do they really do with the building other than, well, we gave them 6 months and that's all they need. I mean, that's all we're willing to give. What about serving the public? What happened? I mean, yeah, it was last minute. Maybe we should have had better preparation up to that point. From this point forward, hopefully this board is looking for it and the staff behind it to make sure there's a smooth transition from one place to the other. This drop dead agreement, that was hard to swallow, you know, because that almost seems like that's how these people feel. And, you know, that's unconstitutional, like you said. I mean, the very first line, all people, supposedly, all people are created equal. And we're not seeing that. And we're not seeing the cooperation between agencies that are supposed to be public service agencies. And they're not private businesses, they're not corporations. They have to be an entity in its own. And yeah, we've got to worry about legalities, liabilities, but worry about the people first, man. That's where hopefully we're converging. I'm glad you're talking about making partnerships with the city of Salinas and Monterey Peninsula. I loved how Delgado was like, hey, you know, maybe Maria can throw in a couple thousand. That's the kind of leadership we need and camaraderie we need between our public service entities.
Thank you for your remarks. Okay, any other comments on the consent calendar? All right, excellent. So now we are going to take a motion on items 14, 18.1, 19, 20 to accept, actually we're pulling item 19. So I can't hear 20, 19, okay, so we can pull 19 until next week.
And number 14 is also coming back there, so we will be voting to move forward on 18.1 and 20, and also move.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much.
The city council meetings that out in the community in Chinatown, where I go quite often actually, were more confrontational, more disruptive, more theatrical, more not just bending the rules, but trying to break the rules in order to get power on these issues. I don't see him as a voice seeing all sides and working in a very inclusive manner with everyone. I see him as more confrontational. I'm a little bit surprised too that Mr. Alejo would be the one to suggest or sponsor both votes. I think it should be maybe one from him and one from another Board of Supervisor, so that we get a comprehensive view of this, taking care of and addressing these issues, not just looking at it from one side.
Thank you for your comments.
Go ahead, Ron, go ahead.
All right. Yes, I can speak. Thank you, Supervisor Orlando, because I've known West White for approximately 4 years now. And you know what? When you go to take someone's home, there's going to be a confrontation. So you go to take someone's possessions, there's going to be a confrontation. So what's going to be somewhat confrontational? But you know what? I've known him for 4 years. I've never known that why. I've known him to try and get on the ballot without an address, but that was an object of debatable scrutiny. And I think that anyone should be allowed to put themselves on the ballot and get a proper vote. Voting is what our country is based on, majority rules. I'd certainly like the public to have voted on the laws that were made by the City Council that outlawed sleeping outside on public or private property. So if you had grandkids and you wanted to sleep out in your yard, that's now illegal in Salinas. Illegal in this town. On public property, I can understand it, but on private property, I was pretty sure if I'm on property, I was free to do what I wanted on there as long as it wasn't breaking the law, which now we've made sleeping outside on private property breaking the law. I find that difficult to understand. And what's to fight for us? Maybe you can learn a little more tact, a little more, you have to work with the system for it, but you know what, it's hard to be give and take on whether you have a place to sleep or not. Hard to be give and take on that. So maybe you can understand its vehemence. I'd say it's vehemence, not confrontation, because I certainly have vehemence. Some people might think I'm confrontational, but you've got to draw a line in the sand somewhere, and sleeping in the rain would be that line in the sand. So once again, I know this man to be honest and truthful, and I think it's a good representation and a good thing for Supervisor Leto to nominate.
Thank you for your comments.
The sidewalks are public property.
Thank you.
They sure are.
I will speak only from the dais.
Thank you, ma'am.
Wes White, one of the possible appointees. It's kind of interesting, he doesn't know Virginia Mendoza, she actually ran for city council. So, I mean, I understand it may not be in this district, but she did run. So pretty advanced type thing. Just want to give you a little history about how I started. I mean, I started just at the school board, at Salinas City Elementary School Board, noticing like public comment wasn't even allowed during the board meeting. So we had to start videoing that to prove the point. And then when people saw, oh my God, that's crazy. And then we also led the recall against Janet Barnes, who was part of building a better board. And at that time, I also got into Measure G and noticing the city was kind of playing these same kind of games. You know, I've only gone after money in the first office, Measure G, you know, a little pinprick here for tax. All right, that's not that painful. But then about 10 months later or so, a year, the homeless ordinance in 2015 came out. And that's, you know, you're going to take my money and lie about how you're going to use it. That's one thing, but when you start dealing with people directly, that's where we're going to start getting away. You know, I mean, we're a public service entity, and we're supposed to be serving the public, not hurting people. If we're not going to help, we should not hurt. And that seems to be the crux of the matter. The whole sidewalks is public. Well, you know, we checkerboard all these places out, and there's nowhere left for anybody to be. It's not a casino. The world is not a casino, and once you run out of money, it should not be the reason why you should be dismissed summarily and unestablished from the society and shunned and never allowed to return because now you're a felon and now you're just broke. You got to have 3 times the rent. Oh, you've already had bad credit. We're not going to rent to you. It's just ridiculous. We're playing on imaginary money, and all we do is print it. If we want to raise interest rates, we do. If we want to lower it, if we want to say we're worth $9 billion, we can. It's imaginary. We need to deal with people. We need to deal with principle. We need to deal with issues and make laws according to that between our public service entities.
Thank you very much. Is there a motion to approve?
I'd like to say something. Hi, my name is Melissa, and I'd like to just say that the reason why I'm homeless, I didn't become homeless just recently because I got cancer. And I lost my job because of all my medical and everything, and I got it, like I said, I got a dog and everything, and it took so long for me to get on, for them to prove me for disability that I lost my home. That's why I'm homeless, so I mean, there's all kinds of reasons why we end up being out there. But like I said, I have nowhere to go. I have a dog. If I go to jail, where's my dog going to go? That's the only livelihood that I have is my dog. My family don't live here. You know, and I'm recovered from cancer. I'm free of it, which is a good thing. You know, and now I'm just going back on track. I volunteer at Dorothy's. I volunteer with the Streetlight Program. I help everybody down in Chinatown with anything and everything. I'm like the mom out there, you know what I mean? So we're not all bad people out there. I mean, there is some out there, but we're not all bad people. It's just the cops make us out to be. And them coming, I mean, they just did a sweep on Thursday, and they did get another one today. And we are getting tired of being harassed by a PD all the time. That's all they do is harass us, and they look at us bad because we're homeless, and we're not. That's all I gotta say.
Thank you. Thank you very much. We have a motion and a second on the floor.
Madam Chair, very quickly, I just wanted to state that all supervisors get a certain number of appointments. That's all I'm doing here. So the appointments I'm making to the Housing Advisory Committee is not exclusive. The other supervisors have an equal number of appointees as well. But I do want to state that long before I was in public office, I was a community organizer, community activist. And it was a commission that first allowed me to start being part of making recommendations, trying to come up with solutions to my city, to my county. So I encourage that. This is a lot harder when you have to start looking at solutions and trying to shape public policy. And I think for citizens, that's a good way to do that on commissions. Unfortunately, I think we still have a lot of vacancies that are open that many citizens don't want to serve, and we want to certainly encourage more people to serve in this capacity, attend those monthly meetings, come up with solutions, and make recommendations to the county by serving on these boards. So I would certainly encourage all residents, if they're interested, there's certainly other vacancies where they could serve their community in that capacity.
Thank you, and thank you very much for being diligent about ensuring that all of your responsibilities are fulfilled. I think you're way ahead of the rest of us. Thank you. All right, could we have a vote then on approving the appointments? We have motion second, on favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much. Excellent. So,
Like I explained to you before, we need to get this, all this situation that we have going right now, we need your help. If we don't have your help, there's going to be a lot more dismay out in there. Right now, because of all of us having to go from Soledad Street to wherever out in the city, it has spread out now. The problem has grown even more. You have taken people out of the neighborhood where you had it congested in one area, centrally located. I've been in that area since 1980. I was there when everything was wide open. Every bar, every restaurant, every whatever that was there. This little area of that town, of this town, is where we are, or were. As of yesterday, we all have to get out of there. Now we're over in the park area, we're uptown somewhere, we're down the street, we're everywhere. And everywhere we go, you know what follows. Everything that we do is coming with it. If you would have, if it would have been left alone and let the people be right where they are or were in that central area, you had a fence around them, in a sense, already, like closing in New York. You know, had a fence right there. You knew what they were doing. You knew where they were. You knew what they were about. But there's, like I explained to you before, there's bad elements in there.
I support what you're saying is, we've talked about before, the county will be working with the city to try to address a lot of these issues where the city takes more precedence than the county. So thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you. Excellent. Thank you very much.
I'd like to first speak on what Martin said. If I had a piece of moldy bread, I grabbed another piece of moldy bread, say, could have moldy bread in one place. If I took and shook it all over the room, now you've contaminated the forum. And it is the essential element of taking a group of people who actually, Chinatown was made into a slum by cutting off the railroad tracks. Before that, it was a functioning business area. By cutting that off and made it into a ghetto, the same way as the Germans made ghettos in Poland, the same way you made an area by selecting and isolating it from all the other areas. We did have everybody in one area, though. When you take that and shake it all over the city, you're going to increase the crime rate of this town, which already has, quite frankly, a high enough crime rate. We had services. We had no reason to take a knee. If someone's out someplace in the city and they have no food, no shelter, You can imagine what a human being would do after a certain amount of time. They sort of have no choice. I run a 24-hour store in Garden Grove, California, Southern California, a neighborhood of like Chinatown. And quite frankly, in my stores, I've seen people steal about everything you think of. But food, diapers, and baby formula, I would pay for that person. Because they're going to steal those things. It's a necessity, they don't have a choice. Making people go where they have no services, instead of leaving an area where they had services, gives them that no choice. So we can find some way to negotiate a cessation of hostilities against the homeless. It would be greatly helpful to us and the city in general.
Thank you. Thanks very much. Melissa, and then we'll get back to the agenda.
I'd like to say, with you, the cops coming down there and making us leave there and everything, all that money that been funding for Dorothy's, the health center, it's gonna go to waste because nobody's using the facilities because everybody's scattered out. Well, like I said, we're not all bad people, you know what I mean? There's things happening no matter what part of town you're in. It goes on the east side, north side, west side, and there's shootings everywhere, there's crime everywhere. All we're asking is stop the police from harassing us and stop giving us tickets, because the more people they can give tickets, the more we're gonna be out there anyways because we can't afford them.
Thank you.
Right.
Thanks very much.
Sorry for dominating so much of your time today, and I appreciate it. There's have been other times where we've been juked on even having 1 minute to talk. So appreciate being able to, and sorry to make it inconvenience, but these are people's lives. So, that's sorry, but not sorry, I guess. The isolation thing is definitely a big part of our culture. When World War II came out, I mean, we're selling guns to both sides, hoping everybody kills themselves over there. And we're making rich, and at least we're not involved in the fight. It seems like that's a big part of the culture is fighting, and that's dismaying as a civilized society.
So I think we're about to hear a presentation that might give us some hope on what it is that we can do today.
The city council ordinance, with the Salinas City Council ordinance, and also Monterey's no sit, no lie, these kind of issues, I hope you will take into consideration and tackling head on. Or cooperating with other cities, as the case may be. But these are the issues. The county is responsible for people as far as what the cities are willing to say, yet they have a free hand to hurt people. And it's not okay, and you need to step in, you need to be responsible for that. Please do.
Thank you. Thanks very much.